Ah, no, I'm in frame. You're in frame.
Yeah.
We're both in frame.
Okay, fine.
We're in frame, man. No, you come over this way a bit.
Oh, really? Oh, now there's too much left.
No, that.
Okay.
Okay, this is bad.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get on with the show.
Hello and welcome to Good, Bad, Ridiculous. My name is Bharat and here is my co-host Melinda Farrell.
Almost got it right. That was quite good. Yes, hello, welcome to Brisbane. Day 3, the day and all. Just changing it around a little bit. The day finished a lot differently to how it began.
They call it the moving day, and the game has certainly moved. I wouldn't say in England's direction, but England have finally arrived. For the first 2 days, I kept screaming, "Send England back!" But now there was some point when I was saying, maybe the time has come to send the urn back already, because Australia were wilting, or it looked like, for a while. But having said that, they are still in front in this game.
They're still, what are they, 58 runs behind. So, calm your farm. It was better. They've won 2 sessions. England have won 2 sessions after losing everything else up until that point. No, that's okay. Let's get on with some nominations, shall we? Oh, okay. Varun Dave nominates good. Joe Root always playing with a smile and controlling the innings, and bad, Josh Hazlewood not bowling and Lyon going around the wicket. Okay, so Joe Root always playing with a smile and controlling his, like, he was really good today. That was the Joe Root today that we've seen score 5,758,432 runs this year. 34. Sorry, 34. Yeah. That was that Joe Root today. Both he and Malan, I thought, batted beautifully. There was not, Malan had that one chance there where he tried to pull Pat Cummins, and Marcus Harris did a weird zigzag thing instead of going straight and just sort of overran it. But yeah, I thought they did. I mean, look, there was still pace and bounce there, but I think once the ball gets soft here at the Gabba, and if you're in by that point, seems to be much more comfortable, and they looked really comfortable there, I thought, today.
Absolutely, and Joe Root wasn't smiling for, I think, the first 15 or 20 balls that he faced. And I always say you can always make out with Joe Root how he's feeling at the crease, with the time between him playing a shot and him shadow practicing it. He does have this tendency to do it after every ball, whatever shot he's played, but if he starts doing it immediately after, that means he's not very confident. And he wasn't very confident. He looked a little edgy to start with, but then he just blossomed into, like Mel said, the Joe Root we've seen throughout this year. He scored runs everywhere, in Sri Lanka and in India, in England, and now he just showed us why he's been the best test batter in the world. And also, coming to your Nathan Lyon part of the question,
he looks so good against Nathan Lyon.
Why he's, I think, arguably the best test batter against spin right now. Maybe one of the best test batters against spin of all time. One of them, for sure. And why did Nathan Lyon have to come around the wicket? Because he completely nullified his over the wicket angle. Joe Root plays the sweep so well that you just could not bowl outside off. You saw him play it so many times. On a couple of occasions, Nathan Lyon lost his length, which rarely happens, and Joe Root pulled him away. So eventually there was no other option but for Nathan Lyon to come around the wicket. And another thing that he does very well with off spinners is he'll rarely play a defensive shot. He will kind of tuck it away, as we saw today. So it's very difficult to stop for a spinner. So I mean, it's beautiful to watch Joe Root.
There was, for me, when he played that reverse sweep.
True.
That shot for me, it was just that it was like he was picking up a piece of lint. It was like he was doing this.
That's not lint, that's my hair, but yeah, I know what you mean.
That's what that, that's what that shot was like. It would just look like the easiest thing in the world. He was so in control at that point of Nathan Lyon. That was just, when I watched that, I went, what do you do? Now the other part, Josh Hazlewood, that is the biggest question of the day, and I can tell you no one knows the answer. And Travis Head, We were speaking to him, BT Sport, afterwards. Glenn McGrath asked him, it's like, oh no, I think, that was just the way things worked out today. I know you were asking Marnus Labuschagne in the press conference, and it was similar kind of thing. So it's this big mystery. But 8 overs, what did he give up, 13 runs?
Yeah.
What? It's weird. I don't
not,
get it.
I don't get it. Also, what I don't get is like when Joe Root did come in, you saw him warm up. He bowled him a spell, and matchups, and Joe Root has had very little flow against Josh Hazlewood, and he did start tentatively against him. Then once he was taken off, like you said, he didn't come back, but maybe say 7 or 8 overs to go for stumps, he started warming up. So I thought maybe there's a late burst in him, but that wasn't to be. He was warming up for a couple of overs, then he went off the fine leg. He left the field for 1 over. Maybe then you thought there's some injury, but then he was back on the field, and Marnus Labuschagne just said, not much really. So he just said that no, there are days at the Gabba when wickets don't come, so you have to make plans. So we still don't know what is up with Josh Hazlewood. Yes, conditioning, maybe hasn't played too much long form cricket in a long time. But when you have an Ashes to win, a Test match to win, you think you'd go to your best bowler.
I thought Pat Cummins is secretly jealous of Josh Hazlewood and doesn't want to share the limelight. Let's start that rumour. Okay, that's not.
Unfortunately, it's Pat Cummins. Nobody will buy it. But yeah, if it was someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's not going to happen. Stone Cold nominates, I guess this is a question/nomination. Do you guys think teams rate Ollie Robinson as an average bowler and don't prepare for him, considering they pay more attention to the Anderson-Broad duo? He had a fair amount of success against the Indians and has looked impressive at the Gabba. I think Australia's prepared for him. I just think he's bowled really well. He's just done a really good job. So it's not that they haven't been prepared for him, but I think he's acquitted himself really well. Really. So I don't do the Marathi.
Yeah, she's trying to do the Ajit Agarkar really.
Ajit Agarkar, really.
She could do with some practice, but Ollie Robinson did not need any practice. I mean, he did play the warm-up game where he bowled a fair amount of overs, but he was simply superb. I personally was a lot of excitement around Ollie Robinson before he came here. I wanted to wait and watch, and I think he's answered, not a critic but a skeptic in me, by bowling outstandingly well. Some of the balls he bowled where he just angled it, he does not bowl 135, 140, he bowls 125, 128, nibbles away to the left-handers where it just pitches leg stump and just steams away. Outstanding bowling, and look, I think maybe the talk about Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad might end soon, and there'll be more talk about Ollie Robinson, and I don't know whether you'll get this, and that's the bottom line. Bharat Sundaresan said so, Stone Cold. You don't get that.
I don't get it.
That's all right.
Open your phone. Oh, okay, there you go. Second new ball nominates, will Gary ever get to his 400th wicket? Maybe a day 4 Gabba pitch and route in the 90s isn't a bad way to get there. I'm putting that down as a nomination for bad.
Yeah.
And I'll also bring in another bad. Cricket Beyond and bad Nathan Lyon wasn't able to find any zip off the surface, and his line and length weren't as accurate as we associate with him. When you were the only world-class spinner in the team, you got to do better than this on a flashish pitch. Not acceptable. I know there were times when there were shouts and people got a bit excited in commentary. I didn't think he looked like taking a wicket today. I just didn't. Like I said, the route was all over him. Malan would be the one you would think he would be threatening most as a left-hander, but I thought, played him quite comfortably overall. I do, and we spoke about this before, haven't we? Like, whether this 400th wicket, it's just really got in his head. And maybe it's going to be one of those things where once he takes it, he takes the whole swag of it. But we're back here at the Gabba. It's not day 4 or 5 yet. But remember last summer when we got, day 4, day 5, and we said this, I think, before this series. It just feels like there's a bit of pressure, I think, on Nathan Lyon to deliver after India turned off the tap.
They did, and I don't know why you added world class in quotations, because he is world class. He's still world class, and deservedly so. But like Mel said, I don't think it's the 400th wicket that was on his mind. I think it was the first wicket today. He hasn't played Test cricket in a long time. He did not have a great summer last year. So
hasn't had a great Shield season either.
Hasn't had a great Shield season. And I don't think the ball was coming out the way you expected to come out from Nathan Lyon's hand. Yes, the pitch did not offer him much. I thought he bowled much better to David Malan. He beat the bat a few times whenever he tried to cut it. Like I said earlier, Joe Root just nullified him. But my concern was just his body language. And he batted for Tim Payne a couple of weeks ago when he said he called him the best wicketkeeper. But also he was very reliant on Tim Payne when he was captain for these kind of moments when things maybe weren't going his way. He needed Tim Payne to strategize, just maybe to put an upper arm around him. And we're still getting used to this Pat Cummins era of captaincy. He is as well. The first innings didn't really need him. And I thought he struggled with his body language a little, but Manas Labuschagne said, well, at least he kept them tight. I mean, they didn't really go after him, not that Root and Malan had to. So in fact, more than the boundaries, I think it's the ease with which they were milking him for singles is what would bother him. Look, he can come back and take wickets tomorrow. So
and he might end up taking a fifer.
Like he did go back to Edgbaston. He, in a not a similar situation, but he did turn it on towards the end of the test and win that first test last time the Ashes were played. So do not rule Nathan Lyon out, but I am a little concerned for him.
Armchair Critic nominates, I guess this is bad, does Rory Burns need to be dropped? I mean, he'd probably be quite happy if Australia started dropping him. That he does need to be dropped to maybe score a few more runs. We were discussing this whole thing about when Rory Burns doesn't bat very well, he'll come back and do just enough.
Just enough. And
just enough.
Exactly what he did today. Just enough where he hit a couple of boundaries, hung around for a little while. And speaking of drops, he's been dropping a lot. He dropped a few in England. He dropped David Warner at a crucial time yesterday as well, don't forget. So he is under a lot of pressure. And I personally thought Zach Crawley looked outstanding in the nets. And Zach Crawley is made to bat in these conditions. I really hope he does get to play 4 tests and not 3. So, and Hameed, to be honest, I was again another skeptic of how Hameed would go here. He might not have got too many runs, but he's hung in there. He's done what you expect an opener to do in these conditions, and his technique is simpler than Rory Burns, more repeatable, and I think he has age on his side as well. So I might keep Hameed and bring Crawley in. So I'm with you. I think Rory Burns might have to go.
Oh, that would be a big call, because I think England feel like they've invested a lot in Rory Burns and leadership and everything else. So yeah, I mean, I think they have invested a lot in him. Maybe they will stick with him because he's been there a long time. But I don't know, if he doesn't bat well in his next opportunities, then Zach Crawley looks pretty good. So yeah, we'll see. Avinash Tiwari, so that's a joke, with Joss looking doubtful. It's Josh.
Oh.
Has the time finally come for your soulmate Neesa? Or has Jai pushed him into oblivion? I think that's a little play on the fact that people keep getting Josh and Joss mixed up a little bit. Look, we've all done it. Big news today. Michael Neesa.
Biggest news of the day.
Fifer.
And
the Lions Australia A game. So, but like we said, we don't understand why Josh Hazlewood didn't bowl. I don't know. Stark has bowled it's bowled okay. He's been stark. He's been stark. It's what you expect him to do. The balls that get wickets. Then at other times he sort of disappears a bit, leads some runs, but then he comes back and does something. So that's just Stark. I think that's a really interesting contest there, though, because I don't think we're going to see the same bowling attack all the way through. Not this year. And very good time. I thought Jai Richardson was ahead of the game when it came to being next cab off the rank. Neesa taking 5 wickets there. Pink ball test coming up. Maybe that might help. I don't know. We are so... I mean, nothing against Jai Richardson, but We really want to see Michael Neesa play. Make his debut. No longer a fringe dweller.
You know, just the quote of in the history of cricket, the greatest quote was Justin Langer saying Michael Neesa is the heartbeat of this Australian team. And like some other people said, my heart has been beating for Michael Neesa's debut, not so much Michael Neesa, for the last 2.5 years. A little bit for Michael Neesa as well. But, you know, he, on day one, when Pat Cummins was captaining the side, he ran more laps than anyone else. He was just kept running in with drinks after over. Jai Richardson wasn't doing that. And then when the time came to go play for Australia, he puts his hand up. I'm sure Jai Richardson would have also liked to do it, but he goes there, takes 5 wickets, 5 for 29, better figures than what Pat Cummins got in the first innings here in much more helpful conditions. So best figures for an Australian fast bowler this week against an English team. So what if it's not a test match? It's all pointing towards Michael Neesa making the debut at the Adelaide Oval. And yeah, I think I'm pretty good at handing test caps off. So Australian team management, if you are listening, you just need to ask Michael Neesa. Just ask him who he wants the cap to come from, and you'll get your answer.
If I did all the Michael Neesa stuff that you, and I've been very supportive of him, but if I went to your lengths, it would be seen as really creepy. I couldn't do that, being a female. That's to say. Rahul nominates ridiculous how the Brisbane weather gods conspired against England for days 1 and 2 to ruin their campaign as soon as it started. It's all the gods. It's all fate. It's the plane.
The plane, yeah.
It's
the lights.
It's the vibe. It's Marbo. You're not going to get that joke.
I didn't either. But I think it was funny how the mood has changed in the English camp, and I don't even mean the English camp that is here at the Gabba, but the English media camp who were dispersed in Sydney and Melbourne and everywhere. There was one question posed to John Lewis, the bowling coach, yesterday was, do you guys think everything's conspiring against you already? The weather, the issue with the third umpire not calling no ball, no snicko meter, there's been issues all around which apparently only have affected England. So is this a universal conspiracy, not something that's illegal? Is this all that is it? Is that it for England in this Ashes series? But today the questioning was a lot different. England have really shown that they are here for a contest. They fought really hard. So no conspiracy theories were floated around today, universal or otherwise. So let's see what happens tomorrow, and we'll see if things are conspiring against England or not, based on how things go.
I mean, we're only at day 3 of the first test, and I know it seemed really, really grim on day 2 and day 1, but there is time. And interestingly enough, if, as we believe, that the 5th test will be held in Hobart, a day-night test in Hobart, I also think is more favourable to England than probably any other place in Australia. So that was so hey, weather gods and everything else, they are giving some things out to England. Two pink ball tests. One of them in Hobart.
Cool conditions. Adelaide is still pretty cool, 10 degrees, 11 degrees at night. So it really is, could be playing into England's hands in any way. So
long way to go.
Maybe things will be conspiring against Australia soon.
Only day 3. Okay, time for, let's rip through, because it's getting really dark.
It is.
It is time for the goodest thing of the day.
Towards Joe Root.
Yeah, okay. And now it's time for the baddest thing of the day. Hey!
Not so bad, but concerning. Nathan Lyon and just his body language on the field, like I said earlier. Hopefully people put an arm around him, just tell him that, look, you've taken 399 test wickets, and you are a world-class spinner who can win matches for us in the second innings. And they just remind him of that, because I really do rate Nathan Lyon very highly. Hopefully he comes back and takes some wickets today. But just today, just how he was, pretty bad.
And finally, Bharat Sundaresan, your ridiculous thing of day 3 at the Gabba.
I think it's just a mystery around Josh Hazlewood. We still don't know what happened to him. At what point, they decided that they're not going to go for him. But having said that, I suddenly remembered something. I did tweet this out. So when Haseeb Hameed was running off the ground at the end of the Australian innings to quickly put his pads on, Pat Cummins was just walking in, bouncing the medicine ball. And at one point, he almost bounced Haseeb Hameed with that ball. And I thought it was the most unintentional yet pointed mind game I've ever seen happen on a cricket field. So that for me is the ridiculousest thing of the day.
Okay, that is pretty good. Well, that is it for day 3. How exciting, because we've got a test match. I mean, England's still alive. England has still got a long way to go. Long way to go.
Excited,
so don't get too excited yet. But at least we've seen something really positive from England. That's what we wanted to see. We hope you enjoyed day 3. Take your phone. That's his phone. And we'll see you tomorrow.